Hello, myself Ashish from Group 4 and Subgroup 1. Today we will explain you about Aristotle's Metaphysics.
Metaphysics is the principal works of Aristotle. Metaphysics is the branch of philosophy that examines the fundamental nature of reality, including the relationship between mind and matter, between substance and attribute, and between potentiality and actuality. What is known to us is as metaphysics is what Aristotle calls the first philosophy. Metaphysics involves a study of universal principles of being, the abstract qualities of existence itself. Perhaps the starting point of Aristotle's metaphysics is his rejection of Plato's theory of forms, as we seen the Plato's theory of forms in the last video. So, we know physiology consists of ethics, metaphysics, and epistemology. We also seen epistemology in the last video. So today we will discuss about metaphysics. There are three categories of metaphysics. First is ontology or general metaphysics, and then religious metaphysics, then physical metaphysics. First of all, ontology or general metaphysics. It is a central branch of metaphysics. It is study of the nature of being, becoming, existence or reality, as well as the basic category of being and how they relate to each other. It is of two types, mera-ontology and meta-ontology. So, mera-ontology deals with the relation amongst whole parts, the parts of parts, and the boundaries between the parts. For example, if we want to study matter, then what is matter? How it is made, what part it has, means atoms, then parts of atom, then an atom collectively makes molecules, and then molecules make a matter. So this is how meta-ontology is specified. And then meta-ontology, it is the investigation what we are asking when we ask what there is. This means when we ask someone that what it is, so he will explain it, that how it is made, from where it is made, and from where it comes. And then next is religious metaphysics. Religious metaphysics is a body of beliefs based on the historical, mythological, religious, and esoteric literature and traditional of creation. In religious metaphysics, all the beliefs of all religions like Buddhist, Hinduism, Jain, Christian, all this comes under the religious metaphysics. All the beliefs that these religions explain, this comes under the religious metaphysics. Mostly the questions of God, freedom, and immortality are explained by the religious metaphysics. In religious metaphysics, we see that all religions are there. So, each and every religion has their own God, and their explanation of creation of their God and creation of the world by their God is different. So, in this, we come to know that how religious metaphysics helps us. And the next is physical metaphysics. In physical metaphysics, the study of the largest scale, structure, and dynamics of the universe is concerned, with questions about its formation, evolution, and ultimate fate. As we know, the universe is very big and very vast for exploration. So is there someone else who have traveled whole universe and telling us about all the planets and many galaxies and all which are present in whole universe? No, this is where the metaphysics is worked, and this is called physical metaphysics, in which the philosophers try to explain us about where and how the universe is formed, when it is formed, and how the universe is and how big it is. And in real life, nobody has seen it and nobody has went to see it or discovered it. So you go to a old person, he will tell you some new story about the formation of universe or anything related to this. So everybody has his own thinking. So this is where the metaphysics is concerned with. Metaphysics means the science of explaining things by what we think. There are many theories like Big Bang theory, non-standard theory, in which plasma theory. This all comes under the physical metaphysics. We know that scientists explain us about black hole and how the earth has formed, how the other planets are formed. Is it that they went in the past and they have seen it by their own eyes? No, this is their own explanation by the science, and metaphysics help us to understand these all theories, and this is how in real life metaphysics work.
Myself Geeta Biswas. Now I will tell you further about metaphysics. Metaphysics is considered to be one of the greatest philosophical works, as it influenced on the Greek, the Muslim philosophers, and even writers such as Dante. It consists essentially of a criticism of Plato's theory of form, which Aristotle has studied. The result is a synthesis of naturalism of empirical science with a critical inquiry into language, ontology, and epistemology that inform the Western intellectual traditions. Now we have three questions: that what is existence and what sort of things exist in the world. The second one is how can things continue to exist and yet undergo the change we see about us in the natural world, and how this world be understood. By the time Aristotle was writing, the tradition of Greek philosophy was only 200 years old. It has begun with the effort of thinkers in the Greek world to theorize about the common structure and underlies the changes we observe in the natural world. There were two theories which influenced great on Plato and Aristotle. The theory was of Heraclitus and Parmenides. Now I will tell you about Heraclitus. Heraclitus emphasized the constantly changing nature of apparent reality. By contrast, Parmenides argued that we can reach certain conclusion by means of reason alone, making no use of the sense. He said that the world is not made up of variety of things in constant, but of one single truth or reality. But Plato's theory of form is a synthesis of these two views. Any object that changes in imperfect state, then the form of each object we see in this world is an imperfect reflection of the perfect one. For example, a chair may take many forms, but in the perfect world there is only one perfect form of chair. Aristotle encountered the theory of forms when he studied at the academy, when he joined at the age of 18. He soon expanded on the concept of forms in his Metaphysics. He believed that in every change there is something which persists through the change, and something else which do not exist before but comes into existence as a result of the change. To explain how Socrates come to born, Aristotle says that it is matter that underlies the change. The matter has the form of Socrates, imposed on it to become Socrates himself. Thus, all the things around us, all substances, are composites of two radically different things, form and matter. Thus, doctrine is sometimes known as hylomorphism. Hylomorphism means matter and form. But many scholars believe that Aristotle's work as we have them today are little more than lecture notes. Many of his works are extremely complex and thus baffling to beginners. That is, it is difficult for new philosophers to understand. Now, where is this more evident than in the Metaphysics? Ibn Sina was one of the greatest medieval Islamic philosophers. He said that He had read Metaphysics of Aristotle for 40 times, but still he did not understand it.
Hello everyone, my name is Snehashish Karmakar. Today here I am to give a presentation on Aristotle's Metaphysics, and the lecture is given by Arthur F. Holmes.
What is metaphysics? Well, this question has been asked from time immemorial. It has been asked quite on and off, here and there, at very platforms and at various occasions. Well, basically, the word meta and physics both are known to us. Meta is above normal. It means something superhuman in some fields or in some aspects. And physics is that branch of science which deals with matter and property and energy, etc. Both together gives us an idea of the field of science which deals with those phenomena which cannot be explained by simple physics that we study in the school. Now, metaphysics is a subject which deals with the reality. It questions at various levels and at various pairs. Metaphysics inquires, presupposes some theory of what is real and of what exists. Metaphysics is closely related to epistemology. In the same way that epistemology asks what is knowledge and how does it differ from opinion and belief, as we have seen in our previous videos. Opinions are one's own experience and thoughts, while belief is hard-earned experience gained from natural facts or scientific evidence. What is reality and how it differs from mere appearance? Well, let's say reality gives us the real concept or a rough relative aspect of science in which we deal with frame of reference. In theory of relativity in physics, we have seen many questions or situations have arisen, out of which we question one person in the frame of reference of inertia with another person without in non-inertial frame, and vice versa. That theory of relativity or the concept of frame of reference has somewhat been originated from this point of view. It discusses about what is reality and what are the standards or criterion for what we should consider as reality or real. Western philosophy, metaphysics has become the study of fundamental nature of all reality. Some only regard metaphysics as the study of higher reality or the invisible nature behind everything, but that isn't actually true. But it is instead the study of all the reality, invisible and visible, both. The origin of metaphysics is in Greek. It is derived from the word Greek word ta meta ta physika, which means the things after the physics. Later, metaphysics is interpreted as the science of things which transcends what is physical or natural. Philosophy has three branches of metaphysics: epistemology and ethics. But metaphysics is the primary to philosophy. It is an inquiry to the nature of the reality as a whole. Reality can be seen from different perspectives like art, religion, science, and so on. Likewise, metaphysics is also a way or a strike to know and understand the reality. Generality is the highest hallmark of metaphysics. In that sense, metaphysics is a theory of reality as an inquiry. Philosophy originated with metaphysics both in Greece and as well as in India. There is a transition from thou conception to it conception of nature. In the thou conception, nature has the result of being preceded over by some deities or gods. Under this conception of nature, the explanation were of two types. Firstly, the goals and purposes of those who presided over the nature were teleological, and secondly, it was individual specific or specificity. But its conception of nature is free from such kind of deities and characterized by mechanistic and generality. Mechanistic in terms of causal laws, regularity, and so on became of which science came to existence. On the other hand, of generality, metaphysical philosophy came into existence. During that period, various thinkers started questioning as to what is the principle which underlines everything, or what is the ultimate principle. Now the question may rise, what is a principle? The answer to this question may be given by at first listening some defining features of a principle. A principle is a substance which is changeless and abstract. In Indian philosophy, it is called Vastu because it is changeless and it is beyond time, and because it's according to the Hindu Shastra or Hindu sciences, Hindu metaphysics or Indian metaphysics is defined as follows: mankind's main problem is metaphysical and not moral. According to Hinduism, man has forgotten his true nature and experiences himself to be someone other than what he is. Experiencing the sacred requires attaining that original state of consciousness which he has lost. Man must transcend the finite personal consciousness and merge or experience ourselves to be the infinite impersonal consciousness. There are basically 4 types of metaphysics: theology, metaphysics regarding soul, cosmology, and ontology. Theology is the study about the existence and notions of God, study about the various types of religions that are scattered all over the world, and verification of concern in theology. Metaphysics in regarding soul is study of existence of soul and life. Relation of body and soul are concerned about the metaphysics regarding soul. Next is cosmology. It studies about the evolution and creation of organism or a spirit that are related to cosmology. Ontology is the metaphysical study of the nature of being and existence. Metaphysics, apart from metaphysics, Aristotle also gave the motion according to Aristotle. He stated that every object has a natural state. In natural motion, earth elements, which are like stone, apple, etc., are drawn to the earth. Heavier objects are more strongly attracted, so they fall faster. For example, stone falls faster than a feather. However, Aristotle's mechanic is 100% wrong. Types of motion identified by Aristotle, for example, celestial motion, motion of things like planets, the moon, and the stars; terrestrial motion, the motion of everyday objects. Objects move when acted upon by forces. Motion of celestial objects and terrestrial objects look very different. They vary greatly, mainly because terrestrial objects seem to be come to a stop and celestial objects do not. The natural state of terrestrial objects are at rest. Aristotle's distinction between essence and accidents. Well, essential property is absolutely necessary, while accidental property like color of hair, eye are usually accidental. Like we cannot control the color of hair or eye, but essential property or essential form or the matter and form are always omnipotent and they cannot be replaced or changed. But accidental situations are irrepressible determinants which may be having in phenotypic form. For example, the phenotype of plants are under study in Mendel's Garden Pea experiment in 1700, and George Gregor Mendel studied both phenotypic and genotypic domain or properties of pea plant. He studied 7 generations of garden pea in order to bring out the genetic variation which leads to the phenetic variation or phenotypic variation. And phenotypic variations are here regarded as accidental variations. So this can be concluded that this difference between essence and accidents was the origin of genotypic and phenotypic distinction. Thank you very much.